Hi, this is Dr. Susan Swim from Now I See a Person Institute, and today we'll be interviewing one of our faculty, David Abramovich, his associate, Oliver Angel, and his go-therapist, Teresa Margarita. So, Teresa Margarita and Oliver Angel were saved from the slaughterhouse. They were going to kill poor Teresa. Teresa, can you give us a smile? She's starting to learn how to smile like Princess. Smile.
Smile.
Give us a big smile.
Smile.
Smiles?
Smile, Teresa.
And they found out she was pregnant and she got saved. They came to this ranch for fostering, and I fell in love with them. So if anyone ever asks me to take a horse and look at it, don't, because it's like looking at puppies. You're always going to take one. So our theme today is, again, explaining what we do. Our colleagues, mainly with other institutes, the Taos Institute, the Canakill Institute in Merida, Mexico, the Grupos Campos, and I'm not pronouncing it right, Institute, and many other institutes around the world understand completely what we do. It's here in the United States, particularly in California, where most of the MFT programs teach individual therapy, not necessarily relational therapy. And so today I was having a conversation with a delightful college professor trying to explain the work that we do. And it's very difficult to translate the success that we have in the work that we do, even if we didn't have the horses, which the horses, as I hope that you all know by now, really enhance our work, because if you have somebody whose parents has just been killed or you've just been raped, the last thing you want to do is start immediately talking to somebody. And so a lot of times what they start doing is just hanging with us at the ranch, and the conversations occur on a very natural basis. So David, if you were to try to talk with either our members who will be watching this or with people that aren't familiar with our postmodern marriage and family therapy model of therapy, what kind of things would you have to say?
I would start by sort of saying that, all issues and all problems that we face are relational. Hence, we feel that it is super important to make everyone of a particular family part of the equation when trying to help and heal these families from the hardships that they've gone through, since all members are affected and there are feelings that come out everywhere, and there are different angles, and we need to be able to see them all in order to assess and sort of steer the ship in the right direction, of course, only with the help of the client and the client's foundational basis.
So one of the things I just wanted to add to that is that not only is it the family that comes in, but it might be the social workers or probation officers or other people that are important to the client's change. And what we've written in the past and continue to write is that we must honor all these voices in order for change to occur. So could you say something a little bit about that?
And then another thing I think that is essential is that, we anchor the ship until the ship doesn't need anchoring anymore. We hold them here, the families here, really tightly, and we're extremely supportive step by step by step. You know, sometimes families come in 3 to 4 times a week when they're in crisis. But as that crisis dissipates, and as these bad memories are replaced with good memories, and things start happening, and momentum and good things start to occur, the frequency of their visits become less and less and less, until ultimately they just come in, you know, just to say hello and pet the horses, and just to kind of brag about how great they're doing. And there's nothing more delightful than a family that was in complete disarray and turmoil coming back and with smiles on their faces and telling us how wonderful they're doing.
So we were talking just a few minutes ago about one of our clients that we're going to be videotaping next week, that their child had been hospitalized multiple times, and was on probably the most medication that I had seen a 15-year-old be on in a long period of time. And both the little girl and the mother told me in the first session of the diagnosis that she had, and how this was something that she would have to learn to control, but that would never go away. And this is a client that that you see as well. So could you say something to that?
Yeah, I mean, this little girl, or now young lady, is now very accomplished. You know, she's graduating with her degree in AA with a 3.8 average, and is going to be moving on to a UC school, probably, you know, possibly UCLA or Berkeley, which is astonishing. And, you know, she really sees herself as someone that is no longer a victim, but someone that has a bright future, a very, very bright future, and expects to do and achieve great things with her life. She's positive, and she knows that she can overcome anything. You know, and she has this empathy and strength that most 20-year-olds don't have because of what she's gone through. And it makes her not only just delightful, but also, you know, just full of empathy. And, you know, she does eventually want to pursue something in the way of helping people. She wants to give back because her life has changed so dramatically, and it's so beautiful to see.
So I don't know if people know how, and I'm just going to take a picture of all the horses here. Teresa Margarita, you're there in the corner. Jack and Maggie are here. Yes, Jack. Who's my favorite chestnut with a big face? You are. So I don't know if everyone knows about how we started Now I See a Person Institute. But Now I See a Person Institute was started kind of on a whim. I was a professor at another university, and I had gotten an email in 2007 about doing therapy with horses, and my daughter had horses when she was young that I continued to keep, and that were not being ridden very often. And one of the things that happened is that I thought, oh my goodness, I can do therapy with horses, and I can see Jack once. I can see Jack once a week, twice a week. So I brought my PhD students, right, Teresa? You weren't there though. And I brought my PhD and my master's level students. And we did it Wednesday afternoons, because that's the only time that I had free, having a full-time teaching position, and as well as a private practice on the side. And immediately from the first session, I'll still remember the incredible relationship that was created with the clients. These were new clients. Some were my clients from my private practice, but many of them were from a group home. And the incredible relationship that developed within the first time that we saw them. But the way that we started calling it Now I See a Person Institute is that we had a student from the university where I taught, and the paper is actually on one of our websites. And the student came in one day into a practicum class and said, I hate my client. And I just about had a heart attack because I didn't think that this person used the word hate. And so we talked about what happens when we don't like our clients. Well, you know what, Teresa Margarita, it doesn't have anything to do with the client, does it? It has to do with the therapist. Either that the client's not doing what the therapist wants them to do, that they remind them of somebody, you know, there's, as Tom Edison would say, there's just prejudice there. So the next week they came in and we got full releases to be able to videotape this and write about it. And the next week the practicum students came in and that particular therapist said, the client that I hated is now my most beloved client. And so when I asked why, the student said that for the first time in 10 sessions that she left the treatment plan outside the door, all the progress notes of hers and of other people that had seen this poor woman, and she went in with an open heart, and for the first time she saw a person in front of her. For the first time she could see a person. And that was the origins of us starting Now I See a Person Institute and calling what we do Now I See a Person Institute. So Now I See a Person Institute means that we see people. We don't see diagnoses. We don't see symptoms. It's not that we're blind and that we can't see them. But it's not that's what we define people as. And people learn not to just define themselves as that, but as people, and people who can recover. Would you have anything to add to that, David?
Yeah, and it's phenomenal. Once we stop seeing them as their diagnosis, they also stop seeing themselves as a diagnosis, and it's liberating for them. It makes hope happen and possibilities that were in front of them before that they just didn't see become clear, because now they're not focusing on their diagnosis and, you know, what's wrong with them, but rather their strengths and opportunities. So it's really
so in other words, before they thought they were crazy,
right,
and what they were doing was crazy,
right,
and once they start them see themselves as being normal, then those same things that they were doing before, they see as what perhaps a normal person would do.
Right, just, you know, like before they would say, oh, this is because of my diagnosis. But
this is because I was triggered. This was because I'm anxious,
it's
I'm
just
depressed.
Because they're human. Mm-hmm. And we react to our environment, and their environment wasn't entirely healthy, and any human being would react the same way.
And I wonder what vets would say about horses being diagnosed with mental health disorders. Look at him. He's like, what the heck?
What is that?
Teresa, what would we call your son?
We would call him...
He's 1 year old.
Very codependent.
He's enmeshed, codependent.
And overly loving.
And
rambunctious.
Yes. Okay. Bye. So signing off today. Blessings to everybody. Thank you, David, so much.
Absolutely.
And we'll talk soon.